we are going to continue on talking about graphs. We're going to decide how to create a graph from a data table. But a couple of you have been asking me about, is Mr. Matt coming back today? While I'm doing my teaching, whenever I have a conflict with the 7th grade, then sometimes Mrs. O'Toole will take your math class. And so the days that she takes your math class, I believe are the days that she's working with Mr. Madden. So when I'm teaching, it won't be Mr. Madden visiting, but when Mrs. O'Toole is teaching, it may be Mr. Madden, depending on how they coordinate their schedule. Okay? So does everybody understand? Good. I'd like everybody to open up their math notebooks to the graph they completed either at the end of class yesterday or at home last night. I'm not sure what page to put it on. Oh, 21. Okay. Okay. So I will give you a graph paper. Did you have a chance? Oh, this was the graph you started at, not yesterday, but the day before. So the graph from the jumping jack graph. Okay, people, I need your attention up here, please, for 1 second. I'm going to give you a chance to turn and talk to your table partners about it, but I'd like to talk to you for 1 second. We did great because not only did we do math the other day, but you know what else we did? We got a heart for May movement, is that it?
Movement Day.
Movement Day, because we got so much exercise in and y'all look pretty tired and red-faced and sweaty, so that was excellent. So I'd love for you to take your graphs out, turn and talk to your table partners and discuss your graphs, compare what they look like, and discuss how you approached, how you tackled the graph. I see different types of graphs out in the room right now. Yes, Jack?
We get the groups of the graphs yet?
No, this is okay to talk to your table partners about it. Thank you for asking good questions. So you can discuss it. How did you decide to look at the graph?
Well,
Take a look at each other's graphs. See what you think.
I went up for how many jumping jacks I did. I went up by 20 because I got 100. I got 178, and then for the time I went up by 10, and I made progress.
I marked the seconds by the time seconds, and it was 120. And then I went up each time for the amount I did. I think it was 120.
So I just I wrote all the numbers and the one.
You put the 1 away.
He did 13 and 45, and then
I just got to 87.
Nice.
Because this graph shows you only got to 90.
Yeah, I know.
No, I mean I just.
And it's 100.
Yeah, I know.
Where did you show up?
I don't know.
Okay.
The first one we got the 10.
Yep.
Well, I got did you do a bar graph?
No, wait.
I did so I did
47.
I did 10.
Garrett did a bar graph, it looks like. 41.
But it goes up around 10, like 10 every time. About like
Mine goes from like 15. Whoa, mine is.
So 50 where you went 50? Okay.
I went from like. Garrett, it looks like you're a mess. Mine up like you did some turns really long and some turns really short. It looks like in between 60 and 70, I only got 4. And then between 80 and 90 seconds, I got, let's see,
between 80 and 90 seconds.
No.
I got
from 98 to 125.
I got between one of them.
Apparently I went super fast.
46.
Jumping jacks, I got 87.
Yes.
You did a really good job. You guys have done a really good job of having a quiet table
We
talk.
messed up our time, and then I had to do it again.
Come on, how many times did you have
Okay, we're starting again. Okay, good job. Sixth graders, I need you up here. I noticed that about half of the class did one type of chart and about half of the class did another type of chart. So I'm going to start with Grace. Grace, would you show yours under the elbow if you wouldn't mind? And we're going to have to listen very carefully to hear Grace talk it over. It's very loud in the other room. So.
Okay, so I made a bar graph, and I did for my, I got 178 in the end, so I went up by 20 for how many jumping jacks I got. Then I went up for by 10s here, and then
And when I'm wondering about this data point right here. What do we have here?
0.
So you
0 seconds, so I got 0.
so you started at 0, so you have at 0 seconds there. Good, great. Does anybody have any questions for Grace? Does anybody have any questions for Grace? Great, thank you, Grace. Appreciate it. Matt, can you show us yours? Guys, I'd like you to look at Matt's graph and then and if you have any questions, ask him how he did it. Okay, go ahead.
So I went up by 13s on the side, 10s on the bottom, and my total was 175.
And how did you decide on 13?
Well, I was going to do 10, but I figured out that was going to be too small, so I thought maybe 13 would be closer.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Matt about how he chose that graph? No, good, thank you very much. So, we had two different types of graphs to show the exact same data. And I'd like you to take 1 minute of private think time and try to decide which graph do you prefer to show that data and your reasoning why. 1 minute of private think time. And then we'll discuss with our table partners. Okay, turn and talk to your table partners about your choice of graph and why you prefer that type of graph. Why do you prefer your line graph?
I don't care. I was just and if there were higher numbers, you might want one like this because you don't have to have any pattern. And if there were lower numbers, you would have a pattern.
Which do you prefer?
Oh, the line graph, like what I lost my guy. That's what I like.
Why do you prefer line graph?
I think it's easier because you can show like where it's going and not the gap like with braces. It was kind of like that, whereas with the line and you can see exactly.
It's really insightful. We're going to have a group discussion. I'd love it if you could share that. That would be great. I can wait. So we had some really interesting conversations going on tables, and I think we should talk about the advantages to a bar graph versus a line graph. So let's go over here and I'll create a little chart here. Looks kind of like one of our data tables. So, does anybody, what was the advantage that somebody saw to a bar chart? I heard some good conversation over here. Oh, Kobe.
Well, when you're trying to figure out a certain amount, a circle, like for a line graph, it's not like precise with the actual number. You could mean like, let's say like 43, but it's actually 45. A line graph, you can actually tell where the like one by
So,
one.
on a line graph.
No, on a bar. On a bar.
So you think it's easier to tell?
Like tell what number they actually got.
Like more accurate.
Yeah, more accurate. So it has to be.
Great. Okay, anybody else with the bar chart advantage? Leah?
You can more easily
Easier to see the difference? Anybody else a big fan of bar charts and why they prefer them? Alyssa?
When you can see the jumps like higher or lower, and it's almost like you're taking a step to it.
Okay.
So you keep track.
So higher, lower is like taking a step, taking steps. You have more? Yes.
It might be one of the like I was like easy to understand like how it works.
You find it easier to understand? Okay. Is that kind of the same as easier to see the difference, maybe? Okay, we'll just put a little star there. So, I also saw a lot of line charts, and why do people prefer line charts? Karina?
Well, maybe because on a bar chart you can make it go up, but if it goes gradually up, you can actually show it on a line chart by going up like more that way. But if it goes rapidly up, you can just go straight up. On a bar graph, it'll just go up the same.
Okay, so you're finding it easier to read a line chart, especially when it's dramatic.
Yeah.
Dramatic table. Okay. Easier to see dramatic, to see changes. Okay. Hans, is there
Not shaded as much.
not as much shading? Not as much. Okay, great. That's a great one. Not as much shading. So you save your pencil, save your ink. Ursula.
I think both of them work if you do it correctly.
Can you?
I think both of them work if you do it correctly. But I don't think you do it correctly.
What do you think is wrong with the bar
I
graph?
think they should have shown their progress every 10 seconds, not the total going up. That's what
Oh, so you wanted to see, and I think would you like to show yours, because that is what Annabelle did. Thank you very much. So that's kind of more of a difference bar chart as opposed to a total bar chart. Thank you very much. That's great. So that shows the step each 10 seconds. Max had a really interesting point. He chose a line graph, and he had a very interesting point. Max, can you share with us?
You can kind of, it's more like what Paula said, it's pretty much what Paula said with the bar graph, but it's easier to tell because it's, instead of it being like this, it's like that, so you can see exactly where the point is. And then,
You said something else about like other points that might not be. What do you think? Oh, I thought you did. Okay, so you can see where every point is.
yeah.
Okay, great. Does anybody else have anything else that they like about a line graph? Jack?
Well, for one, you can make it operation and draw a line. Beginning to end,
can use it to find an average. Exactly where it is. But on a bar chart is really good for that because there's no such thing as selling 1.5 shirts, right? So a bar graph is really good when you have data that is, mathematicians call it discrete, but something that can be chunked into one little piece. Whereas with a line, when we have our line graphs here, even if we have our data points at 10, 20, and 30, I'm just making this up as I go, so be patient with me. We know that 10 is right around 20, we know that 20 is right around 30, and if we want to, if we're talking about something like time that is continuous, you don't have to have just 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, or 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It can run continuously, so you can use this to see what's in between. So that's why we're going to be working a lot with line graphs in here. Right now we're going to kind of switch gears and change our thinking, and even though you prefer bar charts, they are awesome and they are really good particularly in a situation like this. But we're going to be talking a lot about rates and things like that, especially over time. So we're going to be focusing more on the line graphs. So could you turn and talk to your table partners about that? Try and see if you can resolve for yourself that you're okay with converting from bar graphs to line graphs.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Is that okay? Is that going to work for you? Can you comfort with that? Okay. That's good.
Like if you put a line and connected it to all the points, it would be a line.
Open your notebooks up to, it looks like we are, L21 is available. Does everybody have L21 available?
I don't.
My graph because I didn't have one here.
We had L20.
Yeah, no.
We had homework. No, we have R20. No, we have R20.
Okay, then let's just go forward. We're just going to go to
L15.
No, I'm not going to go back because I want to keep it chronological.
R23.
L23. Open your books to L23. I want to go in order so you can follow along in your books. Yes, Craig?
What should the title be?
Excuse me?
What should the title be?
Line graphs. This is going to be line graphs on L23. So I'd like you to build a table that is 13 across and 2 down. 13 across, 13 columns, and 2 rows. And we're going to fill this in. And I think this is a new challenge for you guys. So I'm going to tell you a little story about the data that's in here. There was another group of 6th graders that did the same experiment, but they didn't read the directions book. Yes, Lauren?
What are we supposed to be making? Are we making like a graph?
We're going to make a data table, but so there's a group of 6th graders who tried this experiment on their own, and they didn't read the directions correctly, so they tried very hard to jump at a completely steady rate. So the group's first jumper jumped at these intervals. I'm going to give you the data, and you can write the data down into your notebook, and then I'll give you some private write time to figure it out. So the first is in seconds. And the second row is number of jumps.